Ooh, video number 2 in the big ugly gray sweatshirt because it's like my security blanket. I love it. Can't help it. So I just did a little snippet from my weigh-in video for the week. I had a good week. I was down 1.4. But we have a holiday coming up. We have Easter, and I've done a video where I've talked about kind of, when you go into the holidays, especially around Christmas, what do you want? And that's the thing. So for planning for a holiday, and Easter, it's just basically one day. So that's how you kind of have to look at it. But you have to think, what do you want? And do you want to lose weight that week? Do you want to maintain? Is a small gain okay? It really is up to you, and you kind of have to think about those things going into that holiday. Again, it's just one day, so what can it really do? But it's also about what you can handle as well. So on one side, when you think about, your weight, if you see the scale go up, are you going to be devastated? But in actuality, can you control yourself around the food? Those are some of the things you have to answer for yourself. And the other thing too is if you give in to and decide, well, I'm going to enjoy myself on Easter, can you stop at Easter? Or are you going to keep going for a few more days? So those are things that, kind of have to think about. And so it's really for each person, and there's no right or wrong. It's just what works for you. But here's what I'm going to do, and actually what I've been doing. And that is I pre-plan. So I have to think of what the holiday menu is going to be. And so, like, for me, it's pretty simple. We're going to be cooking here. So I already know what we're going to have. I already bought the groceries. Yeah. And I got a nice big fat ham in the fridge. So that's all well and good. If you're going someplace else, you can try asking, or if you kind of know what you always have when you go there, kind of think about that. And, what do you want, what you don't want. And also too, and I've said this, I think with the, during Vlogmas, some holidays have your favorite foods. You got to think about that. If that's the only time of year you have that food, you might want to have that food. Okay. Because if you don't, you might just set yourself up for disaster and kind of beat yourself up for not having it. So, again, these are some questions you got to answer for yourself. But you should try and get some idea of what you want to have, know what you want, what you're going to have, what you want to eat. Certain things, like at Thanksgiving, sure, I like stuffing, but if I don't have stuffing, I don't really care because I'm not a big fan of stuffing. It's ham season, but figure out what it is you wanted to eat and think how much you really want to eat. If it's something like you're not going to have very often, ham, we don't have hot ham very often, so I do enjoy having ham. It's like when we had corned beef at St. Patrick's Day. We only have corned beef once a year, so I'm going to have corned beef. So it's something like that. But if it's something you have all the time, maybe not have so much of it or have any of it at all and enjoy the other things. Also, too, depending on how you track your food, are you going to track your food? Are you going to track your food that day? That will also depend on if you decide to kind of maintain, if you want to lose weight. And like I said, it's one day, so it's one meal. And there, are several apps. I know there's the Lose It app. There's MyFitnessPal. Those are for calorie counting. WW has their app. And I will show you how you can kind of pre-plan if you know what you're going to have right here. All right, so here my Weight Watcher app is open, and I click on Sunday because that's going to be Easter. Then I click on the meal, which is dinner. And now I'm going to start searching for the different foods I want to add. And so I'm going to look up ham, of course, because yummy ham. And I'm going to put in the amount I think I'm going to eat. So it said 3 ounces, so I'm going to bump it up to 4. So come on, enter. There we go. And now I'm going to look up the boxed potatoes. Yes, we use the boxed au gratin potatoes. It's actually a favorite of my son's. Now, on the Weight Watcher app, it is sometimes hard to find the prepared instead of the dry mix. The dry mix is not going to happen. Sometimes if you do scroll around, you can actually find under the same heading prepared. So that's why I looked, but it wasn't there. That's okay. So I'm going to continue looking until I find some au gratin prepared potatoes. And I think I did. Let's see. Taking too long. What the hell? Here we go. Come on. Come on, me. Come on. Find it. There we go. It's at the top. It says quarter of a package. I don't know if I'm going to eat a quarter of a package. Could I eat a quarter of a package? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could. But I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see what the servings are. And there is an ounce serving. Now, if you're at home, yes, you can actually measure your own food. And so I'm going to just look at it and I'm just going to put in 4 ounces. Not really sure if I'll eat that. It just depends. I'll know after I weigh it. So then we have to do the asparagus because asparagus is yummy and I am having asparagus. It is my favorite. So going to look it up. It is a 0-point food. I already know that, but I'm going to put it in anyway just to show you. You can, yeah, see, 1.5 cups. Yum. And I'm sorry, but I have to have mayo with my asparagus. Now, I do use Kraft. The avocado mayo is the mayo I like the most. So I'm going to put in a little bit of that. And I'm going to pre-plan for 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to go back and look and let's see what my meal is like. 12 points for the meal. That leaves me 11 points for the day. So that works. Now I can actually think about what I can eat for breakfast and lunch to stay on track. All right, so now I'm going to show you what to do in MyFitnessPal. And I just do the same thing. I go and find the day that I want under diary. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to start adding food to the dinner. The 1550, the calories, that's just whatever. I don't know why it's in there. It just is. But now I'm going to start looking for cooked ham and get an idea for what I want. Now, some of these will have things like slices, and sometimes when you look at those, they don't have any other option for the serving size, which kind of sucks. So I don't want to really use those. I'm going to try and do something with ounces. So here we go. Did I find it? Yay! So yeah, went with 4 ounces. So I'm going to put that in there. Wow, ham's got a lot of calories. So now I'm going to look for those potatoes because got to have the potatoes. And that seems about right for it being prepared. So I'm guessing that is correct. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. With Weight Watchers, you can scan the barcode. With MyFitnessPal, you're going to actually have to pay for a premium service to do that, which I think is bullshit. So on here, I'm just showing how to change the actual serving size to 1 cup. And I don't know if that 1 cup is 4 ounces or what. I'm just putting it in here just to show you and how to kind of pre-plan for the meal. Of course, gotta look up that asparagus. Asparagus is very low in calories, and I want the cooked, and I want it measured in cups, but you can do grams, ounces, whatever you want to do, whatever's easiest for you. And yeah, I'm going to do the 1.5. And of course, then I got to go back and find my mayonnaise. I do like that mayonnaise because it has a good flavor, unlike a lot of reduced fat mayonnaises. Or mayos. Yeah, so that's why I get the avocado. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is actually pretty good. And so I'm going to put in my 2 tablespoons. That's 90 calories. and then I go back and look. And what you do by pre-planning, yeah, it's a high calorie meal, but it is a holiday meal. Then what you can do is you can actually see, you know, if you have a calorie point that you want to hit, like 1500, 1600, whatever. Now you know how many other calories you can use for that day, for say dessert, lunch, and breakfast, and kind of stay within your calorie range. Or if you go over, you kind of have some idea. And that's all that is, okay? But that's one way you can just pre-plan your meal on MyFitnessPal. All right, so basically what you could do, like I showed, is think about what it is you want to have and put it in ahead of time. So you kind of have an idea for the day, that day, where your calories are or where your points are at. And so for me, I had like 11 points left. So that is for like my coffee, my breakfast, my lunch. And if I change up dinner at all or adjust it. And that's the other thing too. You can have it in there and you can say, oh, I'm going to eat 4 ounces of ham. What if you don't eat 4 ounces of ham? What if you eat 3 ounces of ham? You can adjust it. But you've already kind of made that kind of commitment to where it's 4. So if you go 3, it's a little bit less. That's no big deal. If you decide to have 5, it's just a little bit more, and that's not so much of a big deal. But to just say, oh, I have no idea what I'm going to have, and then you just don't know. So it's just kind of nice to have that kind of the idea of where you are for the day by having that meal already in there, because it is a big meal. I think I showed that it's like a 12-point meal, but calorie-wise, it's like 900 calories for that meal. So, and that's not even including dessert or anything. So, and that, like I said, once it's in there, you can go back and adjust it and update the amounts you have. But it gives you an idea for how you can plan the rest of your day if you want to stay on track, or maybe just let that go, or, just so you don't go overboard, because sometimes that can happen. So if you're going to have chocolate on that day, you could put that in too. So whatever you want to do. The other thing too, and that's the thing, it's like you don't want to go into that meal hungry. And so by having it pre-planned and having some idea of like how many calories do you have left for the day, or how many points do you have for that day, you can eat and kind of keep hunger at bay and not do a lot of damage, because it's really easy to do a lot of damage. I can do a lot of damage. But the other thing too, and this is something that people have a hard time with. I'm going to be at home. I have scale. I have my measuring cups. No big deal. I actually have this like ladle set or whatever. There was a ladle and there's 2 serving spoons. Those are really awesome. They were Weight Watchers a long time ago, and they're metal, and they're already pre-portioned. So one's 1 cup, one's a half cup, and one is, the ladle is a 1/4 cup. And I freaking love that ladle. The thing is, if you go someplace else, you might not be able to measure. So one thing you can do is you can feel silly and take a picture of your plate. And that way you can kind of see what the portions look like. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about it right then and there, but you can take that picture back and kind of get some idea of, oh, that looks like a cup. That looks like, a few ounces. You can do that. And one way of also looking at that, and you can Google this because Weight Watchers used to teach it, and I think a lot of places do too. There's the whole thing like your fist. I think I have big hands, but like your fist is about a cup. The palm of your hand is what, 4 ounces, 3 ounces? I can't remember. And then something about like your thumb is like a tablespoon or 1 ounce. You can Google it. You can go online. You can look at those things. And that way you kind of have your hand to kind of help measure things a little bit. What was the other thing? Like, if you know what, like the size of a tennis ball, I think that was a cup, or like that was the size of a piece of fruit, whatever. But like I said, you can either take a picture and just say, oh, I'm just going to post it, whatever. Or you can kind of use your hand right then and there and kind of get some kind of judgment. But I would still kind of take the picture, because you might forget how much you're eating. That way you have the picture and you say, oh yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. It's like it looked like about the size of the palm of my hand. That's like 4 ounces. Okay. I've actually done that, taken the picture at our Chinese buffet. I've taken a picture of each of my plates. Yes, multiple plates. It's a buffet. You're paying for all that food. So I eat multiple plates. And I can lose weight doing that. I'm going to have to do a video because I haven't had Chinese buffet in a really long time and I really want some. But yeah, you can lose weight. But yeah, you can do the picture method and then kind of guesstimate later to kind of get some idea if you want to kind of track your food. Because the truth is, it's like, yeah, it's one meal and it was like 900 calories. Is that the end of the world? Absolutely not. So, and it was like 12 points. So it was like, no, it's not the end of the world. One meal, not the end of the world. It just depends on if you can control yourself later on and not just give in day after day after day. And so that's kind of some of the things. It's like, is it going to trigger you or is it not? And so that's, again, what do you want out of it? And that's where maybe a small gain or a maintain is something that might be doable, because you know if you're going to eat that, you might go a little bit overboard the next day because you might not be able to rein it in, and you're going to be like, you know what, it's going to be a rough week. That's okay. And go from there. But that's really a personal thing, but that's what I would do. Pre-plan, put it in in whatever app, or write it down, whatever. So I already kind of have some idea of how much I'm going to eat on that day for that meal. And also too, if I'm at home, I can measure it. If I wasn't at home, I'd be taking a picture and then doing a rough guess when all was said and done. So also too, and it's just a little side note, my weigh-in day is Monday. The day after. Ham is salty. Those Idaho potatoes are salty. Will I have a gain? Probably. It doesn't matter if I was perfect all week, perfect all that day. I'll probably still have a gain. So either don't weigh yourself the day after eating something like a meal like that. Like I won't do that with the Chinese buffet. I will not weigh myself the following day because I already know I'm going to be very, very up because of all the salt and the water retention. You know, wait a day or two and kind of get a better idea of what, you know, how you really truly did. So I just wanted to make a short video on that because, yeah, holidays are kind of hard, and yeah, and you just keep working at it until you find what works for you and how you can approach that holiday or each individual holiday or any kind of big gathering or meal. You can do the same thing. You can pre-plan, write it down, take a picture of the food, whatever's going to keep you on track for your health goals. Okay. So anyway, hope you all have a good Easter, and I will see you again soon. Bye.